Let's be real, Transformers 1 Sentinel Prime is far worse than the boys' Homelander, because 1, he touched minors, 2, Sentinel doomed his entire planet, and 3, Sentinel was a true dictator of entire planet. On the surface, these awesome villains are very similar, from how they give people around them fake hope, with their despicable nature being masked by their deceptively charming facade. And of course, they're both sexy maniacs. At one point, I thought Sentinel Prime was the Transformers Homelander, basically Diet Homelander, not even close to being as evil as Homelander, because with all that gore, cussing, and bigoted hate, making Homelander seem far worse than Sentinel Prime. But beneath all that yummy stuff, Homelander's evil isn't even close to Sentinel's otherworldly atrocities against Cybertron. First, Sentinel touched minors. We'll admit, no excuses for Homelander here at all. He is awful, committing monstrous acts against his own son Ryan, against his mother Becca Butcher, against Queen Maeve, and many other women. Basically abusing his power to control them into acts that they were forced into. And it's absolutely all types of bad. Which, Sentinel does abuse his power, but it's to a generationally more sinister level. Seriously, I mean it when I say that Sentinel Prime touched minors, because he either did it himself and ripped out their cogs when they're newly born Transformers, or he ordered other people to do so, which is equally as bad. Ripping out these cogs essentially forced these newborns to mine the planet for much needed energon. Essentially, Sentinel created a system where these miners are brainwashed to believe that their sole purpose on this grand planet is to mine. That's why some people call what Sentinel did Transformers racism and Transformers slavery. Because he made an entire system to systematically keep these bots under, keeping them from making the choices that would help them to rise up the social hierarchy, and to do anything else except mine for energon. Essentially, Sentinel needed energon so bad, he tainted and crippled an entire generation of newly created Transformers, and keeping them from having the freedom of choice, and keeping them from having their own lives. And say what you want about Homelander, he hasn't done anything as calculatingly sinister as this. And sure, Homelander is a major influence over the younger generation of the boys universe, but is not on an otherworldly scale where he brainwashed an entire generation to believing they're born without vital organs, which is truly keeping them from having the freedom of choice. Homelander hasn't done that yet in the boys, but Sentinel Prime has done that in Transformers 1. Truly, this circumcision of freedom truly makes Sentinel a far more monstrous villain than Homelander. Next, Sentinel doomed his entire planet. And yes, after The Boys Season 4, it seems like Homelander is going to do the same thing in dooming the country of America into the state of suppression and fear, even though the US advocates for freedom and celebration. Hell, Homelander might lead the US into World War III before it happens in real life. Knock on wood. Truthfully, shit's gonna go down in The Boys Season 5 and I can't wait. But this bastard Sentinel takes this to another level, literally losing his own planet's energy supply, Energon. Sentinel lost Energon by being a bastard who betrayed his own planets for their enemies, the Cornisons, and killing all of the Primes to rise up in the ranks and have full control of Cybertron with the Matrix in his pocket. However, the Transformers god, Primus, saw this backstabbing nature and deviousness and took the Matrix away from Sentinel, since he was a false Prime, not earning the Matrix but taking it through blood. So instead, Primus literally starved him and the entire planet of Cybertron of Energon because of Sentinel's actions. And sure, you can blame Primus for starving an entire planet because of one bot's evil. Shit, I'd be pissed. But truthfully, Primus wouldn't allow Cybertron's representative to reap all the rewards of his evil. So taking away the Energon flow is one way of doing that. Sentinel literally doomed Cybertron so much that God doesn't even want to save him. But again, that bastard Sentinel twisted his punishment and made it to a way where he's still on top and everyone else is still suffering below him, with miners mining for that precious energon stuck in this constantly degrading system. The true tragedy behind it all is how the Cybertronian citizens looked up to this leader for hope, the redeemer of Cybertron, even though Sentinel may be the one who condemned Cybertron into this dire present and future. Not even Homelander has doomed the United States yet, and even if he does, it's just the US, and possibly other countries as well, but I don't want to get to the logistics of it. But it still wouldn't be as horrible as Sentinel legit doing an entire planet and his own home planet. Which is why Sentinel Prime is a far more sinister villain than Homelander. Finally, Sentinel was a legit dictator of an entire planet. Yes, Homelander is a tyrant, ruling with an iron fist, either with VOT, the entertainment industry, and now with the political industry, ensuring that he dictates everything he touches. And yes, Homelander's overwhelmingly and oppressive presence can be felt through the seemingly large portion of the population. However, Sentinel's influence is spread throughout the population, not a portion of the Transformers, all of the Transformers. No matter how much they'd want to shred his influence, there's no escaping Sentinel's influence. There's statues of him around the planet. There's crowds of bots looking up in the sky to see a glorified FaceTime call with Sentinel, just to sneak a peek of his treacherous face. And sadly, there's citizens reinforcing this classist discriminative system Sentinel established. These bots believe in Sentinel's promises and his true power dictating what the masses believe in, especially believing in anything that comes out of Sentinel's mouth, because Sentinel deceives with the smuggest smile. And that's how much control and influence Sentinel has in Transformers 1. Hell, his dictatorship has led to ops like the rebellious High Guard, who is essentially the Air Force of the Transformers military, who are trying to sabotage anything they can get. If you got your own military who is supposed to protect you, actually trying to work against you as the leader of an entire planet, that's when you know you're a messed up leader. And don't get me started on how Sentinel essentially dictated the Transformers' history, especially with the whereabouts of the Matrix of Leadership, ensuring that he isn't incriminated in any of those crimes, while the Cybertronian citizens look like fools for even trusting Sentinel, taking such a simple history at face value. And yes, we see rebellions against Homelander in The Boys, but not to this extent, since it's just a small portion of superheroes and government ops vigilantes, truly showing Homelander's influence as a dictator in comparison of Sentinel's true dictatorship, overall showcasing that Sentinel is a far worse villain than Homelander. To sum up the monstrosity of these characters, let's be real. Despite the deceptively charming facades masking their true nature, Transformers 1 Sentinel Prime is far worse than The Boys' Homelander, because Sentinel touched minors, dictating an entire generation of Transformers' lives, which doomed his entire planet into this dire state that it's currently in. Which this doesn't excuse Homelander's evil acts against humanity, because he is one of the greatest monsters in fiction. Seriously, don't let this man see a plane, he's gonna be pissed. So for Sentinel to not only match him, but surpass him is horrifying. And honestly, finding hope in the horror of these villains is hard. And honestly, I guess what we can take away from all of these awful individuals is that it can't get worse than this. Anyways, just enjoy these bloopers.
Feel the rain on your skin. No one else can feel it for you. Only you can let it in. No one else can speak the words on your lips.
Mama, I'm chasing a ghost.